the way forward. If nothing else, it's much more fun than being stuck on terra firma. The problem seems to be the vehicle. It's all a bit cumbersome. Can we ditch it and go for something simpler? The idea of a personal flying machine isn't new, ask Icarus, but a practical one has been a long time coming, if it's here at all. Obviously, it was time for a trip to Sussex.
Now, the 20th of April 1961 should really be considered a red-letter day in the history of rocketry, because it was on that day, just a week after Yuri Gagarin had become the first man in space, that this man, Harold Graham, became the world's first human rocket.
It was a magnificent 13-second flight, reaching an altitude of just over 3 feet. This was the beginnings of the fabled Bell Rocketbelt, and at last a man really could fly, freed from the shackles of gravity to hurtle about at will in the sky. But sadly, the project was scrapped, and the Bell Rocketbelt all but disappeared.
However, here, in an unassuming shed, in a quiet and leafy corner of southern England, the dream of rocket-assisted personal mobility lives on.
Stuart Ross is a commercial pilot who likes flying so much he wants to do it without his aeroplane. To this end, he has built his own rocket belt. And as you would expect, he's done it at the bottom of his garden.
Stuart.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
That's... Not only is that excellent, it actually looks like I think a personal rocket pack should look. Why did you want a rocket belt?
A lot of people ask me that, and I still really don't know why, to be honest with you.
And to be frank, I don't know either. Because with over 300 pounds of thrust strapped to your back, there are going to be inevitable control issues. But Stuart is determined, convinced that he has the right stuff. And while he's clearly a bit mad, he's not entirely stupid. Until he's mastered it, he will fly tethered. Strapping it to this giant seesaw allows him to test the power of his rocket belt without disappearing over the horizon as a glorious human comet.
Stainless steel tanks, these run at around about 600 psi. The gas tank runs at 5,000 psi.
5,000?
Yeah, I know, it's a hideously high pressure, 1 inch from your spine.
It sounds hideously dangerous, to be honest, and explosive and just foolhardy.
It's fine, trust me, it's fine.
Of course it is. This is the captain speaking. But now look at the fuel. One of the most volatile substances known to lunacy.
The fuel used in the rocket pack is hydrogen peroxide, which is the very same stuff that the Germans used for their V-2 rockets in World War II. It's also what Marilyn Monroe used to bleach her hair, and what some people use to whiten their teeth. The difference is, the teeth whitening stuff is about 4 or 5% proof. This is rocket grade 90% proof. And to be honest, if you use that to whiten your teeth, only your teeth would survive.
The worst thing that can happen today, you get a fuel leak.
So a fuel leak would have what effect?
Well, if you get it on your
Make
jeans,
your trousers go very pale.
well, it'll catch fire. They set fire straight away. It's happened once before when I was refueling it.
He may be bonkers, but he is committed. Stuart has even given up beer to lose weight, so he can fly for longer.
Good work. You'll go now.
What?
You'll go now.
Oh dear, time for a bit of stiff upper lip. and I fear I didn't show the same level of commitment as Stuart.
Well, you've got a minimum of 240 pounder thrust and a maximum of about 310. If you're not hanging on, it'll give you a bit of a shock.
So really.
Yeah. But then when you do start going up, try and bring it back a little bit more because it's getting lighter all the time.
So it's virtually impossible then, is what you're saying.
Now, only 11 people have ever flown a free-flying untethered rocket pack. That means that more people have actually walked on the moon than flown one of these. So in spite of grave misgivings, I was determined to ascend the first rung of this exclusive flight club.
I don't like the way you've put your crash helmets on. What's that for?
Give it a try.
Okay.
Gently.
It's stuck.
Huh?
With a rocket nozzle temperature of 600 degrees C, I had one minor criticism.
My trousers are on fire.
Happy?
Yeah.
Worked right, isn't it?
Better than I thought, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that was historic and very remarkable, but I have ruined my trousers in several areas, I suspect. And I think to actually do that in untethered free flight across the fields would require balls of cast iron, or whatever the equivalent is if you're a woman. There's also another problem. The fuel consumption of this thing is so enormous. Well, let's put it this way, it burns more fuel per second than a Boeing 747, and I don't mean per passenger, I mean the whole aeroplane. So even if this thing were perfected, it would have an endurance of about 22 seconds. One more thing, there's no fail-safe with the jetpack, so if you run out of fuel in flight, you're not going to glide to Earth gently like you would in a light aircraft, you're just going to go straight down. So, as the well-known philosopher B.A. Baracus of the A-Team might have said, pity the fool who can't count.
Somehow, I doubt that the rocket pack is the future. A flight limited to a few hundred yards, at best, isn't quite what I'm after. But one thing is becoming clear. To build a viable personal flying machine, you need to be very smart, quite unhinged, and just possibly a bit suicidal. Time to head